I am here with Shinobi from Climax of Night. Shinobi, you're the director, right?
Yes.
So thank you for sitting with me today and doing this interview with me. I only have a few questions for you, and I look forward to getting started.
Sure.
Can you tell me a little about yourself? What got you into being a TO for such a niche community?
Yes. So my name is Shinobi. I've been in the FGC, or the larger part of the FGC, for about 15 years. I started playing Guilty Gear back in 2006, and I started traveling in 2007. When I was traveling to Final Round, which is an older FGC tournament in Atlanta, we started developing a tournament for Melty Blood. And at that time, around 2008, I was being really interested in like more the air dashers, the more like the anime niche kind of games. They were really interesting to me. It pretty much defined who I am as a competitor in the community. Most people know me for like those smaller niche fighting games. And with Melty Blood, especially in the South, we did not have that many events to go to. My starting as a TO came out of necessity because we needed more people to come out and help support the game in other ways outside of playing it. So there were a lot of player TOs, player producers, people who edit videos and all that kind of stuff. We needed all of those people in order to make games like even back in 2008, 2009 look more presentable. This is the age before Twitter where all we had was forums and such. Being able to be in that like organizing space is what got me to enjoy doing that much more. And over the years, I've just kept trying to develop my skills as a TO and to keep supporting the games that I do enjoy playing. And this could be for Melty Blood, Under Night, Guilty Gear, even CVS2. Like games that I do enjoy gives me that yearning, that drive to be to ask the question, what else can I do? What more can I do in order to get these games more well known?
That's really cool.
Yeah.
So you got your start because of the Air Dashers community
Mm-hmm.
and found your passion with the Melty Blood community through that. So what is your favorite fighting game and why do you play?
So my favorite fighting game is probably Current Code. Melty Blood Actors Against Current Code, which is the most recent version of the 2D Melty Bloods from the early 2000s. I think I've had the most success both as a player and as a TO in that game. I really enjoy both the gameplay, the mechanics of the game, which were completely unknown to me at the time. On top of that, the community was like very close knit and very welcoming. People that I still make contact with to this day. Some of those people are actually like here at Climax,
Really cool.
watching it all grow and stuff. So it's just a testament how close knit the community was even back then. Because even after all these years, people moving on with their lives and doing all this stuff to advance their lives, they could all at least come back for one weekend to enjoy the communities that we have all grown up with.
Yeah. Who do you play in the game?
I play Arcade. I play Half Moon Arcade and CL. I play CL, Alco, Coma. I play quite a few characters, but my main one is Arc.
Yeah, I am a big fan of Arc myself.
Yeah.
How long does it usually take you to plan out your event?
So for Climax specifically, it would usually take about 2 months pre-planning, and then once we make the announcement, that's when we actually start to do planning. So say for instance this year we started doing pre-planning around February. We started talking and bouncing around ideas, and then by May, combo breaker time, we announced it, and that was when we were officially like getting ourselves into the meat and potatoes of getting the planning and getting the hotel and stuff together for the event. So altogether, it would be around 8 or 9 months. It takes a while to, develop something
Yeah.
like this.
It's a lot quicker than I expected.
Really?
Yeah, I was thinking
Yeah.
it'd be like a year and a half to get like really going with starting a tournament. So that is
Yeah.
amazing that you're able to get things done so quickly and efficiently. It seems like you have a really strong team with you.
Yes, yes. The folks at Team Data have been very, very, very good. They're an excellent production company based here in Atlanta. Most, I would say, like 90% of the staff here is like all Southern grown. I'm from Alabama. Most of the Team Data folks are like in the city in Atlanta. Our other
Hmm.
streamer, Funky P, is also based in Atlanta. So it's always good to have that kind of strong that strong bond, that strong community within the city that you're running
Yeah.
an event in.
And you just built that up over time through from like 2008, 2009, you said.
Yeah. So like over the years I've made, and I didn't realize this until like maybe last year, it was like realizing that all these connections that I had and all these people that I've talked with and all these paths that I've crossed with me
Hmm.
throughout the years of playing just one game in Melty Blood all culminated into what we have here with Climax of Night. It wasn't something that was done overnight. I've always had an idea to do something like this,
Hmm.
but the state of the community was very undetermined at the time. It was very
Yeah.
hard to try to scope out like how many people could we get to come down to Atlanta to play these games. I would say 5 years because I had the idea back in 2012 when
Right.
one of our like biggest multi majors period happened at final round actually, which was in Atlanta. For me to imagine an event with only that one particular game is it's a very scary concept on paper, but once you have the connections and you know the right people, I felt like it could be done. Pretty much the stars aligned for how the first climax worked out, and the trajectory has only gone up from there.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
So, is final round the reason you chose Atlanta for your major since you're from Alabama?
Yes. So there were two things. One was that final round was like in a sort of like a limbo thing, but
Hmm.
final round was like a big major. It had every game under the sun there. When it left, there was a void in the South, especially specifically in Atlanta, where it was known to be such a cornerstone in the FGC when it comes to offline majors because of final round. Because of final round, they had all of these little regionals and stuff surrounding it.
Hmm.
But now that it was out, it was kind of tricky to try and traverse trying to host something in Atlanta without losing the vision and losing the identity of what I wanted this event to be. But having people who understand that and understand like the vision of what I wanted to do to help build up the communities that do deserve building up, that do deserve to have their own major. With that first year, I definitely have accomplished that. And like I said, it was only going up from there. Like 2022, like a very, very big year for us. It's a milestone year. So,
It's 5 year, right?
yeah, it's the fifth year. So, you can't really take 5 years lightly.
Yeah. So, if I was a new player entering the scene, what game would you recommend that I start with?
So in 2022, you can basically play anything these days. The resources for fighting games in general, especially the more recent ones, they're so broad, they're so diverse, they're so specific. Fighting games these days is just amazing because there's something for everyone. So like just starting out, it's just pretty much like pick your poison, pick your candy. It's whatever you enjoy doing or whatever you want to imagine doing in a fighting game, there's a game for you.
Definitely recommend Puyo Puyo Tetris to anyone watching. What advice would you give to aspiring TOs or event organizers that are looking to get started but have really no idea besides just meeting people?
The first step to it is easily social interaction. So I would not have gotten to the place that I was in without having that level of respect for my peers and having that level of respect for people who are like in the know, like in TOing and stuff. I would just say, it's just the normal stuff. Be nice to people, be respectful, that kind of thing. You never know. You never know who would approach you or who would approach you or you would approach them. You have no idea what they would what they're doing, or if they have, you know, production, or they have a stream, or they are like down the street from you and they could just run the whole thing with you. So I think that kind of interaction comes first, that when you want to invest in something that is like super important to you, say you want to run a 10-man tournament for a game that nobody's ever heard of. Well, how did that start out? Did you interact with those 10 people? Of course you did, because you now have 10 people to, you know, help you run things. So from there, it just keeps growing and growing and growing. Number one is definitely being able to be social with people, you know, say, hey, what's up? And, you know, be a community.
That's really helpful. Thank
Yeah.
you, Shinobi.
Mm-hmm.
And then I have one final question, if you're okay with answering it.
Mm-hmm.
Cyberbullying has been a thing across the gaming industry as a whole.
Mm-hmm.
No matter who you are, where you come from, I feel that everyone's experienced it.
Right.
You yourself even have. As a TO, how do you deal with handling this or security when it comes to running an event?
So when it comes to being a TO, you automatically go into it thinking it is a thankless job, and you should like be prepared to not be, you know, appreciated or thanked for any of the work that you've done. In terms of like the internet or social media, it comes across as like the same thing as to just no one saying anything to you at all. In those times where I feel like nobody really understands, or nobody really knows what I go through, and as a TL, over the years I have met people who have been in my situation and have given me this experience, even though I never found myself in that situation that they have, but I've seen how they've traversed through it, and I've talked to people about, you know, this, you know, like that kind of stuff, because I've talked to multiple TOs, and I've talked to multiple like streamers and stuff that have gone through this, and it's very eye-opening to people who don't even like know who you are or what you do. There isn't that much weight to what they say, because I know that there are like 10 to 15 people that I know that will just outweigh whatever they said. And it was that amount of support on top of not even like interacting with it, because it's one thing to just like not interact with something, but you keep seeing it definitely changes your mental on a few things. So but the main thing is that you should always focus on people who have given you the support no matter what. Anything that, you know, you would go through, or if you would interact with someone who doesn't know what goes on in your life, or like as a TO and whatnot, there are always people that do. It is always important to talk to those people and be focused on those people, and understand that the things that you go through, the things that, you know, your feelings are valid, pretty much. And on top of that, just going outside. I went outside a lot when that happened.
Yeah.
And it definitely, you know, gave me a better insight on how I should be approaching this stuff going forward in the future.
That's really insightful.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you so much, Shinobi, for speaking with me today. Is there any last final words or comments you'd like to share with everyone online?
Buy a shirt.
Buy a shirt. All right, I'll be sure to have that link in the bio as well as linked in this video.
Thank you. But no, like, but seriously, you should just never forget who you do this for. That was like an old thing that like one of the older TLs used to tell me is, he told me two things. He's like, you have a table, if there's space for you and people know that the space is available to you, people will come to play the game. Back to the original point, you should never forget who you do it for. If you do it for yourself, or you do it for your family, or you do it for the community, you know, whatever, have a reason to do whatever you do. That is what I've learned the most out of TOing that I have put into my own personal life.
That is very insightful.
Yeah.
Thank you again, Shinobi. It was wonderful interviewing with you today.